This process begins with a race against biological decay that never slows down. If intake timing slips, here losses accumulate before anyone can see them. Material handling at this point determines whether the system ever reaches full capacity. Once sealed, there is no recovery from thermal miscalculation. Inside this stage, time is not measured in minutes but in irreversible damage. Heat must arrive fast enough to disable enzymes without destroying yield. Everything that follows depends on how cleanly separation starts here. From this moment forwards, mistakes do not disappear, they multiply. Every belt speed mismatch here silently reduces overall system recovery. Cell rupture begins the irreversible transformation, where oil must be freed without burning. Steam input is tuned to push extraction forward without destroying molecular stability. Compression begins where pressure must extract oil without crushing value out of the material. At full load, these forces decide whether oil flows cleanly or drags impurities with it. Once mixed separation becomes a race against sediment re-entrainment.
Here we see the clarification entry.
Gravity starts sorting what machinery can no longer control. Rotational force now replaces patience, splitting phases before emulsions can form. Polishing is about restraint, not aggression, removing particles without stripping yield. Holding is never idle time, only controlled motion, waiting for the next constraint. Recirculation keeps instability from settling where it cannot be removed later. Overflow management here prevents loss long before it becomes measurable. Parallel separation exists solely to protect continuity at industrial scale. What leaves oil recovery still contains value, but only if handled without delay. Airflow now becomes the deciding factor between waste and recoverable kernel mass. Cracking must break shells without fracturing what lies inside. Density separation rewards precision and punishes haste. Nothing moves backward in this system, only diverted or advanced. Oil routing choices here affect downstream stability long before refinement begins. Moisture removal happens gently, atom or not at all. Vapor extraction must stay ahead of condensation or quality degrades silently. Uniform temperature prevents stratification that cannot be corrected later. Final residues are removed now, because later stages no longer forgive them. Chemical balance begins, where gums either bind cleanly or contaminate everything downstream. Mixing speed controls reaction completeness without overexposure. Separation here determines whether refinement can continue at all. Adsorption must capture color bodies without stealing oil mass. Filtration closes this phase with no chance for rework. Pressure tells the truth about how clean the oil really is. Transfer velocity is increased only when flow stability is proven. Under vacuum, volatility is removed without damaging what must remain. Steam strips other compounds before they can recombine. Circulation ensures exposure is equal across every molecule. Vacuum integrity protects flavor more than any additive ever could. Discharge timing prevents thermal shock from undoing previous control. Recovered heat reduces stress without slowing momentum. Final filtration leaves no room for cosmetic defects. Parallel flow protects output consistency at scale. Holding here is about preservation, not delay. Sensors intervene before humans ever need to. Once redirected, oil commits to becoming consumer product. Buffers absorb instability, so the line never stops. Cooling happens only to the degree stability demands. Consolidation increases efficiency but raises the cost of mistakes. Microfiltration leaves clarity with no forgiveness remaining. From here forward, every decision is irreversible. Final polishing removes only what should never reach the consumer.
The stainless balance lines are essential for equalizing pressure, allowing the pulsation dampeners to smooth the high-volume oil movement.
From reintroducing defects. At this point, purity is no longer negotiable. Routing toward filling requires absolute confidence in stability. Surge control exists to protect precision under load. Temperature now determines shelf life before sealing ever begins. The line moves before product does by design. Sanitation ensures nothing unseen enters the final phase. Synchronization removes hesitation from high-speed output. Flow pauses only where control demands it. Inspection systems prepare before product ever arrives. Alignment prevents losses measured in milliseconds. Positioning here defines fill accuracy downstream. Readiness is confirmed only when everything moves together. Oil advances to the final boundary under full control. Valves respond faster than operators ever could. Momentum is preserved without committing too early. This pause exists to protect everything that can be formed. Dispensing begins exactly when all conditions align. Fill levels rise uniformly or the line stops. Throughput peaks only when precision survives speed. Clean closure prevents contamination after perfection. Caps arrive faster than mistakes are tolerated. Torque control locks integrity into every unit. Verification ensures consistency without slowing output. Sealing completes isolation from the external environment. Cooling stabilizes what heat has secured. Inspection now protects brand. Before distribution ever begins, only compliant units are allowed to continue. Identification is applied without interrupting flow. Final confirmation happens at full speed. At scale, output reveals whether control was maintained. Volume amplifies success or exposes weakness instantly. Order replaces motion without stopping it. This is the moment where process becomes product. The system ends only when identical sealed units move forward without exception. The system stops here only because every variable that could fail has already been removed. Most operations never reach this state, not because the machines are weaker, but because control is misunderstood. Those who recognize where failure was eliminated long before it appeared tend to notice the same pattern elsewhere.